Okay, today we're going to talk about maintenance on your machine, or maintenance available from the HMI. So on the HMI, if you've got a level 5 password, you're going to be able to do some maintenance features, and these are not, you typically would not give this password to an operator. So you would sign in, you would get level 5 up here, and now when you open up the maintenance menu, you have a few more options available. So you've still got your missing product detector, your clean screen, but under the maintenance menu, we now have something new called auto cycle. This is, let's say you replace a part in the machine and you just want to run the machine with no product and make sure everything's working. You can go in and say, hey, run it 30 bags per minute. You have to then set the delta, the percent of the recipe speed you want to run, gantry, the percent of recipe speed, and start to auto cycle. Typically this is used at the OEM. At our facility, we'll run it for 8 hours at whatever the maximum bag rate is and 100% delta and gantry speed, and we'll record some temperatures, but you may want to use it for some other things. Servo functions, if you want to jog the smart track or the indexing belt or the delta, or actually, let's see, motion control. So if you want to jog the delta, the case tipper, case opener, any of the axes, you can jog them from this screen. Let's see what else. We've also got under servo functions, there's diagnostics. So for any of them, you can see if there's a fault or what the status of the delta, let's say J2 axis. Went to the wrong screen there. You can look at the indexing belt. Any of the servo axes, you can look for trends, what the current condition, or if there's any errors on that axis. VFD, you can jog any of the, you can look at the diagnostics for any of the VFDs that are on there. Under setup, there's a calibration screen for the laser sensor. So if you ever replace the laser, what you would do is go through, and there's something you have to do on the sensor first. That's going to be in the manual. So you have to first teach the laser itself and read about that in the manual. And then to calibrate the low level, you put one case only on the blue belt and make sure the robot is jogged out of the way, so the laser one and then there's a second laser are both on the case. Then you would come over here and hit calibrate low level. For high level, and it tells you a description, you would place a box on the top of the black wall. So you would come over here. Again, the robot would be out of the way, and you would place a case on that black wall, and you'd have it flat, and you'd make sure that this laser was on, and then there's a second laser. Obviously, the gantry should be out of the way when you do that. Some of the other features available for the maintenance are robot control. So I was saying jog in the last screen, but really the first one was more diagnostics. But here you can you can jog the robot anywhere you want. You can move to what's called maintenance position, which is kind of above the cassette. So if you want to work on the robot head, move to perch. Perch is right before you pick up a product. And you can jog anywhere you want for the delta, for the gantry. One of the things to keep in mind though when you're jogging, especially the gantry, is that you have to really watch what you're doing and make sure you don't run into something, because you can bend and break things if you're not careful. So you really want one person to watch the robot or the gantry and the other person to be jogging. Initialization is something the Delta robot has no, it's a fixed home. So we record it once and then it never homes again. But if you replace a motor in the robot, the Delta robot, or if a motor starts slipping and for some reason you had to adjust the couplings, let's say your positioning was getting out and you found out one of your couplings was slipping, you now have to reinitialize the gantry. The way to do that, machine must be stopped. The next step is you manually, wish I could say it, manually release the brakes. So you bring this, hit the brake release button, and what you want to do is move all these axes up to the top, up to that point there. And you'll find that you can't do this with the robot on the machine connected. So you have to go in like this and disconnect each one, move it all the way up. I'll go ahead and do it on all of them. So move all axes up to the top. Press the brake button again to engage the brake. Then you're going to go to initialize homing of axes. Then one at a time, and you have to wait till it completes, initialize the first axis. So it says it's homing. Oh, it's complete. Initialize the second one. Green means it's in progress. Initialize the third one. Again, you only have to do that if a coupling slips or typically if you replace a motor. So now you're done. So now you go ahead and put your Delta back together and you can continue. While we're here, let's see if there's any other functions that, so initialization, that's homing the Delta. That's really all there is for maintenance. You can also, with maintenance, you can go in, you can cycle, you've got inputs, you can go to outputs, so you can test fire outputs. So a lot of these functions are not available to an operator, and please do not give them passwords to do any of these things, or could be down for quite a bit of time if they don't know what they're doing. So that's it for talking about the maintenance functions of the machine. Thank you.